So hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and this video is going to be a bit about myself because I was getting many messages on Instagram that what was my profile, what was my life before coming to Europe. So as you already watching it on my channel, I'm Osama and I have been in Europe for last 1 year, and I have visited many countries like Turkey, Spain, obviously, Greece, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and planning to travel to UK in this Christmas. And before coming to Europe, I was working full-time for around 4 years, and by education I am a chemical engineer. So this is a bit of a small introduction about me, but who am I as a person? For my international viewer, I belong to the largest city of Pakistan called Karachi, but my childhood started from the really smallest town in Karachi as a real lower middle class social status, and my father was an exceptional story writer and news journalist, but not as successful as the society defines. He never had the opportunity to earn money more than our needs, and sometimes way less than our needs. My mom used to do clothes stitching. She worked from home, and people from Pakistan and India can really relate to me that how difficult is it to earn here. And even if you earn, the inflation rates are always higher and faster than what you are actually earning. So if you are a middle class family member or a lower middle class family in Pakistan, chances are really lower than other parts of the world that you change your lifestyle even after working for years. Also, I'm talking about the era before internet took over the world, so not much opportunities were there. And I always remember the days when my father used to write the applications to my school to waive the fee, the dues of every month for my sister and me, because we were not having enough money to meet our basic needs. And I used to submit those applications with my sister in the headmaster's office, and I remember they used to waive some sort of percentage every time, but still I remember we were not able to pay anything. At that time, every class in school used to have a class teacher, and I don't know how schools work these days. And the class teacher used to announce the names of every student whose dues are not clear for each month, and I and my sister were always in that list. And as a child, you can imagine the humiliation as a kid feels when their name is being called due to no fees being paid for months. And our school was a pretty basic one, not like the schools these days with those typical private schools charging really high monthly fees. So as I remember, the total fees was around 300 or maximum 350 Pakistani rupees. For international viewers watching me, it is about $5 of 2007, and now around $1 or $1.5. So you can imagine the initial level of education I was receiving at that time. But here all the credit goes to my mother and my father for playing their part in my development as a person, as a bright kid at that time. Because my father sometimes gave up on our education because we had no money to pay, but my mom never gave up on it, and she used to save some amount from our daily expenses, and that's how we as a family compromised every day to not just give up on education of kids no matter what. And the contribution of my father was as big as my mother contributed, because he introduced me to the literature in very young age. In those years, some 20 years ago, there was no internet, at least at our house we don't have any mobile too. And I was the kid with the introverted nature since childhood, so I didn't have any friends to play with after the school. So my hobby was to read and just read the magazines, the kid magazines, with some stories, some jokes and stuff like that. And that magazine used to publish every month, and believe me, I used to finish all stories in that magazine in barely 1 or 2 days, and then rereading it again and again for the whole month, because I had not much stuff to do. And that feeling when my father used to bring the magazine each month, that waiting part of it, I think that's what he contributed in my love for reading. And by the age of maybe 6 or 7, I used to read pure error-free Urdu, because at that time those magazines had a word and had some editors, proofreaders, and also the writers were really professional, not like any social media post these days that anyone could write anything and people will consume it blindly. So that early exposure to reading shaped my mind in numerous ways, because I still feel that what this generation of kids really missing is the quality of content to consume. So now moving fast forward from school, I finished my schooling with 8 years of consecutively getting first position. So you can imagine that I was not that bad at education. And then we have boards exam in Pakistan from class 9 to class 12, where you don't have exams inside the school of yours. Those exams happen on provincial levels. So the first 3 years in those 4 years from class 9 to class 12, I had an amazing record of getting above maybe 89% in every year. But the things started to turn in fourth year, and let me clear that Pakistani education system on government level has literally nothing working fine. And the system itself, the corruption here, the cheating system, the management of exam copies, everything has problems. And what happened to me in my one of my exams, in the chemistry exam, I had 2 supplementary copies attached to my main copies in exam, but I got to know that one main copy got evaluated. They missed my supplement sheets somewhere, I don't know where, and it had almost 50% of my answers, and that's how my cumulative percentage was destroyed, as I got maybe 45 out of 100 in that exam, and that is my all-time low. I never even got less than 70 in my whole career. So I want to add something here, that in 2015, when I was about to go to university, there was a real hype of electrical engineering and mechanical engineering. Bright students used to always select those two fields in my university because that was considered very booming. Although now I laugh at this myth after practically getting into the world, the practical world, the professional world. But that one exam, it destroyed my chances of being eligible to choose electrical engineering or mechanical engineering as my field. But here comes the first climax, that now while connecting the dots back, I feel that not getting the chance to choose electrical or mechanical engineering was the best ever hardship, best ever restriction I faced. And that assumed heartbreak at that time was a blessing in disguise, and it was the best ever restriction life has ever put on me. And all this I'm realizing while looking backward. And I was listening to a speech of Steve Jobs a few days ago, and he spoke to maybe Stanford graduates, and he said that you can never connect the dots while looking forward, but when you look back, that's where the life seems to be sorted. The dots started getting connected. So basically, the takeaway from all that story was to never curse your destiny or yourself for facing failures in life. Failures always give us a chance to make our way in a better direction with more resilience and that pain in our heart, because that is what makes our struggle meaningful at that time. And I really don't want to elongate this video much, but I want to share that this was the best decision that I got introduced to chemical engineering, and then I moved towards chemical health and safety. So this was the most amazing decision of my life which I took, and it was all accidental. So imagine if I would have taken electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, I would have really struggling these days. So now I feel that I'm very lucky that I was basically rejected or restricted to not choose electrical and mechanical. And at that time I was feeling really bad just because of these two fields not being offered to me. But when I think now, it is one of the most important steps of my life. So my takeaway for this video is to never feel bad about where life takes you, because things will get better and better with time, and when you look back, you will feel that this thing was the most amazing thing happened to me. So my takeaway for this video is to never get disappointed with anything like bad remarks, bad grades, because if you are putting 100% effort, things will eventually go better for you. But if you're not putting your 100% effort, that is completely different story. And I would urge you to do 100% best of your effort in every single scenario. So that's all for this video, and we will meet in the next video.